and welcome back to Rue's Life. I'm here in the shed and it's time to start going through my seeds and planning what I'm going to be sowing and growing for the year ahead. It's a really good idea to get those seeds together that you've got wherever you may store them, in the house, in your shed, in tins, in boxes, however you store your seeds, get them out, start going through them. Now, some of you may have already done this through the December months, but it's something that I do in January. I have in previous years been super organised, and I have actually planned before the end of one year what I'll be sowing and growing the next, but that didn't happen this year. So I'm going to go through them all, and it just saves. It means, what have I got that I can sow, and then if there's anything I specifically want that I don't have, that's the time that I will buy. But we can never remember what we've got, can we? So rather than wasting money on buying things that I may already have, and sometimes you can do a little substitute. So you know, for example, you might be thinking about growing peas, but you might have quite a lot of beans. So maybe you might grow more beans than peas because that's what you've got, and so on. So I'm going to go through all of mine, and I'll be looking out as well for specific things that I could be sowing and growing at this time of the year. So I've got my notebook. Now I have got lists earlier in this book of what I've planned to grow in previous years, and actually not in this book but in this little book here. There she comes. Ooh. I did actually, little bug, I did actually make a list many moons ago that I can refer back to, of seeds that I like to sow and grow in month order, so I can go back and it just jogs my memory. So for example, in this list, and this was made in 2020, broad beans, coriander, peas, spinach, leek, strawberries, which I started in the house because I've got it in brackets here, purple sprouting broccoli, other broccolis, sweet peas, geranium, and onions if you're growing them from seeds. And if you're a potato chitter, you could start chitting your potatoes now. And then other seeds that you could be sowing and growing now. I'm going to use my list. Broad beans I've already mentioned. Aubergine you could be starting now. Carrots, all the year round. Cauliflower. I've already mentioned onion seeds. So onion and shallots, if you're going to grow them from seed, you could start them now, but I've already put my sets in. I don't have a huge amount of success with allium from seed, so I am very successful with sets, and that's the way that I tend to go. I could be starting some peas now, and I've not been hugely successful, and I did mention last year when I had such an amazing harvest of my dwarf bean rondo that I may actually grow more of those this year and not so many peas for a variety of reasons. But I have got some peas somewhere, I can't remember the variety, but they're ones that I think it was Jane Kelly from Jane's Growing Garden who recommended this variety, and I think they're a taller variety, and that she's had good success with them, and she's only about an hour away from me, so she's in a similar zone or climate to me. So I did buy some, so I will have one last bash with those peas. But do you know, I just find peas, they're not hugely successful. You get a lot of you need a lot of space for them, you need to grow quite a lot of them to get a reasonable harvest, and then you've got all the shelling and podding and a lot of waste, although it goes onto the compost heap. But for me, I find a lot of time and waste goes into quite a small harvest, whereas those rondo beans were just phenomenal. So my plan this year is to grow more of those beans, and I'm going to sow them and grow them in pots or cells and have them ready for when I pull up my onions, and then I can use the bed that the onions are in and half or even fill that bed just with those beans, because we love them so much. Great to have fresh, good in salads, good steamed or cooked or in things like a pie, but they've also frozen really successfully as well. So I think they're going to be my sort of substitute, if you will, for peas. But I'll find those peas and I will have one last go at those. They're in amongst this pile somewhere. You can do a few salads, so things like corn salad, and then your rocket spinach. We can start beetroot off now. I definitely want to start my sweet peas off. And then herbs like oregano, parsley, chives, that kind of thing. So there's lots we can be sowing and growing in January. Now, I am not going to be sowing that volume of seeds in January. I'm actually going to sit tight this year. I will probably start a couple of things like my sweet peas off. I've still got lots of beets in the ground. I'd like to get my kale and those kind of things started, but I think I might wait till February or even March before I do mine this year, because we will still get a cold snap. As I say, I do need to go out and get some compost. And I think sometimes we can be a little bit too keen to get going. The polytunnel is really useful because I can extend my growing season, but yeah, I'm not too eager to get started. And you know, in seasons where I have been a bit later to get going, everything catches up in the end anyway. So let's go through these seeds and see what I've got. So I do have some in cardboard boxes. But because I keep them in that metal cabinet that you can't see, but I've shown you in a previous video, with some silica gel, they seem to be okay in there. Nothing's got in and got them, and they stay nice and dry. So I've got, I'm not going to bore you by going through the whole lot. So what I'll do is I'll go through them, and then I'll come back to you with the ones that I've got that I'm going to be sowing through the coming months. So I am now super organised, and these are ready to go back in the drawer. So the ones I've got in this tin, and this is the tin I always have with my seeds that I want to be sowing imminently. So let's just pop through. So these are the seeds that I'm going to be sowing in January and February. In no particular order, just the way they've ended up plopped in. So I've got some leek seeds, some purple sprouting broccoli. So both of these can be started in January. Sweet peas, they can be started in January, and these are Galaxy mixed. I've got some coriander, which again can be started in January. So these are going to be some definitely January, some January, February time. Cauliflower all the year round. It does what it says on the packet, all the year round. They can be sown pretty much any time, but I'll get those started. There's some more sweet peas there. I've got some parsley, which can be started now. Some mustard that can be started now. There's some more cauliflower all the year round there. Some coriander, which again can be started pretty much any time. More herbs. So this is thyme, which again, actually, saying that, direct sow. Yeah, absolutely, all year round for that one. I do just check, because some of the herbs, I throw them in and then I wonder why they don't germinate. And actually, they are a bit more time specific. But most herbs you can pretty much throw in all year round. So, yeah, this is dill, again, all the year round I can be sowing that. These are some radish, and I'm thinking probably February time for those. Yeah, so February onwards, really, from for the radish there. And these are scarlet globe. I mean, they're just lovely. Some more sweet peas here, which I will definitely be starting my sweet peas as soon as I get some compost. And these are cupani. And these are the old-fashioned mix, and these are just delightful. I've got some spring onions that I can get going. These are sugar snacks carrots, which I can get in from February. I sometimes start things in the polytunnel in January that are more recommended for February time. So let's just have a little look at these. January, February, yeah, but these are so indoors from February, so I will sit tight until February, March for those. Some leek, I've got these leek and some other leek, they're two different varieties, but again I can start those in January or February. And then I've got some sweet peppers, which can be started in February onwards. There's some tomatoes that have found their way in here accidentally. They can actually be started in February and March. Maybe that's why I put them in. Midnight Snack. These are from the fabulous Ali. I'll drop a link to her channel below. She has a wonderful growing channel, and she's always sending me seeds. Thank you, Ali. These look really exciting. So I don't grow as many tomatoes. Chris doesn't like tomatoes, and I've stopped growing them to preserve. So I just grow some that are nice for eating alongside. I like to make a Greek salad with my own onions, my own tomatoes and cucumbers. So I usually only do 1 or 2 plants now. So those will be the ones. And then some more, and these are chili pepper and they're fiery pepper mixture, tropical heat, but they are a selection of different colours. Well, there are a selection of different colours on the packet, but we all know they all start off green, go orange and then go red, but they can be sown from February. So they are the seeds that I will be sowing in the next month into January, January into February. And they'll stay out on the top here. And I find in this tin, they're nice and safe. And then everything else is now, I'm not going to go through the whole lot with you, but so I've got squash and pumpkin in here, and then I've labelled them up. I've got salad, chard and beets for no particular reason other than I was starting to run out of space and it's sometimes hard to group them. These are some poppy heads and poppy seeds that I've saved from around the farm. All of the ones in here are flowers, and then I've got, brassicas in some, tomatoes in others, and so on. The peas that I was talking to you about, so I've actually got quite a lot of peas, and I might as well use these up. It's pointless wasting them. I may give some away, but as I say, my plan is not to grow so many peas. However, the ones that I'd mentioned that I had recommended are alderman, so I will be getting those started as well. In fact, I'm going to transfer those over into the tin, and the rest of these are just various different peas. In fact, there's some Mange 2 which I can get going from March, April time, and they might be better for somebody like me that finds it a bit of a faff shelling out individual peas. Maybe go for the Mange 2. I've never actually grown this type. I've never grown a Mange 2. I love eating them when I've had them, out or at somebody else's house or on the occasion that I've bought them. Although I'm very proud to say that we virtually rarely buy vegetables now. So I tend to eat seasonal vegetables, but also what I've grown myself, we process and have in the freezer. So we've really no need to be buying vegetables at all. So yeah, maybe Mange 2. I'm waffling now. Maybe Mange 2 would be the way forward. So I'm going to get all of these seeds now into my drawer, close that off and keep my tin out. Once I get some compost, I will be away. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below what you will be sowing and growing this year, or certainly this month, or are you going to wait a little bit longer? So thank you so much for watching. If you're new to my channel and you haven't already subscribed, please consider doing so and hit that bell so you'll get notifications of all my latest videos. If you're here just for the growing, and I know a few of you have jumped across from other channels, so thank you so much. I do put out other content, the very nature of my title, Rue's Life, rather than, Rue's Garden. So going forward, I'll be putting out my gardening videos on a Sunday, and then the other content will be coming out on Wednesdays. So if you like the whole of what I put out, so the farm life, sometimes I take you with you when I take the dogs for a walk, and various other bits and bobs, charity shopping, that kind of thing. If that's your bag and you like the whole thing, and I know some of you do because you've always watched all of my videos, they'll be coming out on Wednesdays, and it will be Sundays that will be the growing and the gardening. So give me a thumbs up if you've liked this video. Thank you for watching. If you've made it through to the end, take care, and I'll see you all again really, really soon.